Human.
On the Gophers Sports Network from Learfield. Welcome to Gopher Basketball Weekly with Niko Medved. Brought to you by Buffalo Wild Wings, the official sports bar of March Madness. Now, here's the voice of the Gophers, Mike Grimm.
And we're off and running on this Tuesday edition of Gopher Basketball Weekly with Niko Medved. It's a game day. Columbus, Ohio, Minnesota, and Ohio State set to tip off tonight. We'll take air at 5 o'clock. It's a 5:30 tip time. No JG with us this week. He's out west. The Gopher women played Sunday against Washington. They'll play Wednesday against Oregon. That Oregon game on Wednesday night at 8 o'clock. You can hear Guardsy and Lynette at 7:30 on many of these Gopher radio network stations. Niko Medved, game day, and you're ready for another Big Ten competition.
Man, they just keep coming, don't they?
Yeah.
You know, you look at it and you get back after a tough game at Illinois, and now we got a rock and roll tonight, against an Ohio State team that's playing really well.
Yeah, and we've talked about it seemingly each week that teams go through ebbs and flows, and you might watch tape of a team 3 weeks ago, and you're like, man, they're fighting it a little bit, and then all of a sudden you watch a week or two later, and it's like, whoa, they're rolling a little bit, and it looks like maybe if you'd watched Ohio State a couple of weeks ago, you might have said they're fighting it a little bit, and just in time for you, it looks like they're finding it a little bit.
Well, you know, they had the bye week. Clearly they did a good job of, getting their legs back underneath them, getting ready to go. They played very well against UCLA. So, yeah, I mean, listen, I guess I go into every game always assuming we're going to get the other team's best shot. That's what you have to do. And I think, Ohio State will be ready to play tonight, and we know we're going to have to too. So, but you're right. I mean, sometimes there's an old saying, it's not just who you play, it's when you play them.
Yeah, and we remember we talked about that maybe when it was Purdue, right? You guys got them right after the Iowa State, where they lost to Iowa State. Yeah. I think I asked you, would you rather play a good team coming off of a loss, because the human nature might be, well, they're going to be mad and really fighting, or not? And I've talked to a couple of coaches. I think Richard Pitino one time said his dad used to say, never underestimate how blanked up your opponent might be. So sometimes you might want to play a team coming off of a loss, even if you think they might be mad. But you're right. It's when you play them. It's how you play them. And at the end of the day, it's how your team plays too.
Well, the other thing is, and I totally agree with that, you never know what's going on with the other team. But maybe bigger than that is, it's not even worth worrying about,
right?
Because you don't control it, right? You have no control over what's going on in the other team's locker room or how they're feeling. The only thing you have control over is your approach and how you play. That's why I say I always assume we're going to have to put out a game that's going to have us, in a position to beat them if they're playing their best. Some nights you get a team and doesn't shoot it as well or whatever, but you have no control over their psyche. You just have to control your own.
Yeah, and how is your team's psyche now? Because it's been a couple of heartbreakers, right? You had the buzzer beater last week where it looked like you guys were maybe going to send it to overtime against the Badgers. You had the USC game in overtime where, a couple of late leads and chances to win it and all those things. And then right in the fight at Illinois. So how do you like or not like how your team now is kind of fighting through what they're fighting through? Because I think you look at the box scores, all those games were there, and to me it looks like they're playing pretty good ball.
Well, there's a lot to like as far as their approach, other than the Purdue game, we've had a chance to, in every one of these games so far in the Big Ten. That's a great, credit to these guys, the way that they battle, and they're continuing to learn how they need to play to give themselves a chance. So, but losing stinks. It's hard to keep, come up on the wrong side of it. So I think we're doing a good job, hopefully, of having that balance with our guys of, listen, we've come a long way. We are improving. There's evidence that we're improving that way. But, it can be easy to please, but hard to satisfy. We've got to continue to grow, and we've got to continue to get better because, again, the schedule is they just keep coming. But a lot of teams, I think you get to this point, and you're either going to continue to make the strides to get better, or you can kind of stay the same or go the other way. And if you're staying the same, you're going to get surpassed. So far, I think the guys have been really good. I think they've had a really good approach in practice. But again, we'll see here tonight.
Yeah, no doubt about that. And as you go through that gauntlet, you want to keep your team's confidence when they're playing well, and it looks to me like they're not fractured by the moment in the games they're playing. Like even the other day, despite the outcome, I thought there were winning plays to be made. It wasn't like you were turning it over or kicking it out of bounds. I mean, you had some open looks that if a shot or two falls, they're open, and the plays are there to be made.
Yeah, I agree. You know, we had some opportunities. We needed to make a few more plays. They obviously made them. They're a really good team.
Yeah,
I think Illinois for a reason. But what I love is seeing our guys, when things have gotten tough in these games, we haven't folded. We haven't given in to those. We've continued to stay with it. We've come back when we've been down. You know, we keep giving ourselves chances. And so that's real growth. You know, I think we came out at halftime. They made a run. Then we made a run right back. And I think that was with about 11 minutes to go. And I remember thinking to myself, I'm like, all right, guys, you know, like we're growing a little bit. And I don't, you know, have the exact score, but with about 4.5 minutes to go, it was about a 4-point game, you know, and again, we just had to make a few more plays. They're very hard to keep off the glass. We just couldn't come up with enough defensive rebounds or just quite make one or two more shots that we needed to give ourselves a chance.
And not to get too far into the weeds on the game specifics, but you're right. You had, you had multiple leads through the game. That's on the road. That's not always easy. And then a couple of things. You know, the hook and hold, you know, and you look at that, and there's probably a couple of hook and holds on the play. What did the refs tell you? And maybe you don't want to talk about it, but to me, that kind of changed the trajectory of the contest right there.
Unfortunate, you know, maybe by the letter of the law it was, but I mean, my God, our guys, this, you know, dude 7'2", you know, 280 pounds, and the shots going up. I mean, it's a fist fight down there. I mean, those guys are hitting us just as hard as we're trying to hit them, and it's just, I thought that was a pretty unfortunate, you know, situation, and that was a big play in the game without question.
Yeah, because the hook and hold's a hard. I mean, sometimes they're obvious. You just get dragged down, which was the intent of the rule. But sometimes, if arms are locked and both guys are kind of tugging, it's hard. Yeah, and at the same time, if you look 4 feet away, Cade Tyson's getting dragged down like he's a running back.
He got thrown to the ground, and I mean, I don't love the rule, and it's funny, Brad Underwood after the game, you know, said the same thing. Like, the intent of the rule is to stop the dangerous play of somebody, you know, pulling somebody down from behind on a hook and hold. It's kind of hard when two guys, like you said, are tangled up and his arm might be on top of his, but it's not really a dangerous play. Those are kind of ticky-tack to call in those situations. So I think sometimes we need to call it more what the intent of the rule was, not always be black and white. Just like I told you guys, you know, the game is played in the gray. Yeah. I think sometimes we got to be able to do that a little bit and efficient. And they have a tough job. It's a physical game, but, you know, what's the intent of the rule? And I didn't think that was really a dangerous play.
Yeah, I thought it was literally a hook and hold in that the Gopher guy hooked and the Illini guy held. So in essence, right? That was how it went.
And then the other two guys, they got through into the stands or whatever, that wasn't part of the play.
I think at one point you asked us about a chainsaw, and that might have been what it took at some point, right?
Well, I kept thinking to myself, man, we need to bring a chainsaw or something here to try to come up with a board, but I haven't changed that rule yet.
Yeah, I haven't changed that. And it was, you know, some of it's how they play. You look at the Illini, and they have shot so many more free throws. They don't foul a lot. And so on one hand, it's 19-3, and you had to foul late, so they hit some. But even in the heart of the game, when it was still in doubt, they had a distinct advantage. But man, you look at their box scores, and that is kind of somehow how they play. Now, is that because of how it's called? Is it because of how skilled they are? You know, and all of that. But it's hard to win on the road when you have a 16 free throw discrepancy.
It is, and in fairness, like them, you know, they have, you know, in my opinion, you know, the best shot blocker in the Big Ten. They're so long. They do a great job of protecting the rim, so it is difficult. You know, they do a great job of staying on their feet. They contest everything in the lane, so they're a difficult team to score on, and they do a good job of not fouling. You know, so I think you have to give them credit too in that situation.
And you mentioned in the post game to us too that because of the presence that they have, and man, now they're playing those two brothers in there. 1-7-2, 1-7-1. The one guy all of a sudden's throwing in threes. I mean, they're probably future pros. That maybe you thought there was a little hesitancy in maybe some of your guards trying to approach in there and score, which is understandable. But at what point do you just go throw your body in and hope to draw a foul too?
Yeah, and it's a fine line, because one thing you know going into the game, like we told our guys, basically like launching yourself in there to shoot a shot against that kid is a turnover.
Yeah,
he's gonna block block it, you're going to miss it off the glass or whatever. They're going to get the rebound, and it's numbers the other way. So you got to be careful because, to my opinion, those are turnovers. But there's that gray area again where sometimes I thought like maybe we were behind them or we had an opportunity, to attack them. And so where do you find that balance that way? And I thought there were a few more opportunities maybe we could have attacked them. But again, like they're, in my opinion, have a chance to win the Big Ten and play late into March for a reason.
Yeah, they've got a talented roster. There's no doubt. A couple of other things to talk about from that. Again, even late in that game, there were opportunities. Like there weren't a lot of turnovers. In fact, you guys have really taken care of the basketball pretty well here. I mean, most of the year, but especially now in this stretch of Big Ten games since the turn of the calendar year, I think.
Yeah, we've been good. Our teams have kind of gotten that way. Sometimes, early in the year, you turn it over a little bit because I want our guys also taking, sometimes you have to go try to make the play. You can't just play conservative out there. But I do. Our guys are doing a nice job of taking care of the ball. I think what was unfortunate, I don't remember, what did we have, 7 in this game? It was, or whatever. The bad part is like 3 of those were pick sixes. Yeah. The catastrophic ones that led to, direct scores for them. But I agree. Our guys have been doing a good job of taking care of the ball. They're sharing it. They're being patient. They're playing well together. And you're right. I mean, there were a few more plays to be made. It was a well-played game, I thought, on both sides of the ball, and not a lot of turnovers. Not a lot of fouls. They just had a little bit more in the tank than we did.
Yeah. All right, well, let's take our first break. We'll come back. Again, basketball tonight. We take air at 5 o'clock. 5:30 is the tip time from Columbus, Ohio, Minnesota, and Ohio State. Not at Buffalo Wild Wings this week because, of course, the Gophers are on the road. We're back there next week. Buffalo Wild Wings for Gopher Basketball Weekly with Niko Medved. Come out and see us Mondays or Tuesdays all season long at Buffalo Wild Wings University of Minnesota location. Buffalo Wild Wings is a proud sponsor of Gopher Athletics and the official sports bar of March Madness. Stay with us. It's Gopher Basketball Weekly with Niko Medved from Learfield.
Dear Winter, Toyota can't get enough of you because Toyota's got 25 vehicles with available all-wheel drive and four-wheel drive. And that's more than any other auto brand. From the versatile RAV4 to the svelte Crown, the sleek Camry all-wheel drive, the Corolla Hybrid all-wheel drive, the rugged Tacoma, the tenacious Tundra, and the spacious Grand Highlander with all-wheel drive to keep you and yours safe. Hey, you bring the action, we'll bring the traction. Toyota, let's go places. Based on manufacturer's websites as of 10/20/25.
Small but mighty. Tough yet flexible. Bagster bags from WM mix durability with convenience for all kinds of projects. From home cleanups, renovations, and more. Bagster is a dumpster to make disposal easy. You fill it, WM collects it. To learn more, visit thebagster.com or purchase a Bagster at your local retailer. Buy, fill, gone. Bagster by WM.
Visit the University of Minnesota Bookstore, your destination for the area's largest selection of U of M and Golden Gopher apparel, gifts, and novelties for fans of all ages. From the latest styles to timeless favorites, it's your one-stop shop for all things Gophers. And when you shop here, you're giving back because every purchase directly supports the University of Minnesota. Stop by our campus location or shop anytime online at bookstores.umn.edu. Go Gophers!
Are you looking for concert or sports tickets? As a local Minnesota company, Ticket King is a company you can trust. They have seats to fit every budget and even offer parking or tailgating passes, and all tickets are guaranteed. Each order is personally attended to by one of our dedicated customer service representatives who are committed to providing you with a courteous, professional, quick, convenient experience. Visit us at ticketkingonline.com or call us directly at 612-341-4131.
Buffalo Wild Wings has partnered with the Gopher men's basketball team for the Gophers Win You Win promotion this season. After every Gopher men's basketball victory, fans win 6 free wings. The offer is valid at participating Buffalo Wild Wings locations throughout Minnesota with a $10 minimum purchase for 2 days following each Gopher win. Fans are also invited to join the Niko Medved Coaches Show on Tuesdays from 12 to 1 at the Buffalo Wild Wings University of Minnesota location. For full details, visit gophersports.com/BWW. Buffalo Wild Wings is a proud sponsor of Gopher Athletics and the official sports bar of March Madness.
Imagine getting insider access to your favorite Gopher student athlete, exclusive events, behind-the-scenes content, and unique experiences that bring you closer than ever. That's what you get as a member of Dinkytown Athletes. With memberships starting at just $10 a month, every membership directly supports Gophers student athletes through NIL opportunities, helping them grow on campus and beyond. Take your fan experience to the next level. Visit DinkytownAthletes.com today.
You depend on CenterPoint Energy to deliver energy for what matters most to you, your neighbors, and throughout the land of 10,000 lakes, so we can all make a better tomorrow. That's why we're investing in the latest technology to reduce emissions, offer rebates on qualifying energy-efficient natural gas equipment, and provide energy-saving programs that help save you money. Look ahead at centerpointenergy.com/futuremn.
Playing the Minnesota Lottery is a great way to add some win to your winter. Because while it's long, winter should be fun. And it's the everyday moments that help us through winter. A hot chocolate waiting when we come inside. An extra set of gloves. A fluffy new winter hat. So win this winter by picking up winter scratch games from the Minnesota Lottery. I'm in. Must be 18 or older to play.
Gopher fans, Mystic Mayhem is back. In partnership with Mystic Lake, it's your chance to score prizes. Now through January 25th, enter round 2 for the chance to win a men's basketball prize pack to watch the Gophers game versus UCLA February 28th and a signed Niko Medved basketball. You could also win a $200 Amazon gift card or a pair of Mystic Lake show tickets. Enter all 4 rounds of Mystic Mayhem for your chance to win 2026 Gopher football season tickets. Visit mysticlake.com/mayhem to enter now. Must be at least 18. Mystic Mayhem. Score golden prizes.
No matter how you drive it, there's a Ford for you. On the work site or out in the town, F-Series trucks provide power and toughness when you need it most. It's what makes them the best-selling trucks in America for 48 years. When adventure calls, the Bronco family always answers. That's because they're made for the great outdoors. With a flexible interior, the Ford Explorer adapts towards your needs. Visit your local Northland Ford dealers to find the perfect Ford for you. Plus, a great offer to go along with it. Based on 1977 to 2024 CY industry reported total sales.
Welcome back. It's Gopher Basketball Weekly with Niko Medved. Gopher Hoops tonight. It's game day. Minnesota and Ohio State. Guardsy is out west. It was interesting. The Gopher women lost on Sunday to Washington, and I was listening to Dawn Plitzowite's postgame interview, and you just referenced in our first segment something she said in the postgame, and it makes sense, but I don't know if I've ever heard a coach articulate it. Now I've heard it twice in a couple of days. She was disappointed in a missed layup means it's a layup on the other end. And you were talking about that, just flying in. If you miss a shot close, then it becomes the other way. And I guess I hadn't heard, or if I have, I'm old enough to have forgotten. But now, twice now, 2 coaches here have talked about that. So take me through that thought process of why a missed layup becomes a layup on the other end quickly.
Well, you know, if you pay attention to the NBA, you start with the NBA and you watch like a missed shot in at the rim or the rack zone, as we call it there. A missed shot goes in there and the other team gets the rebound. Watch how quickly, typically, the other team gets a great shot on the other end. You know, if the other team gets the rebound, typically, you know, a guy goes in there, misses it, they get the rebound, they've got numbers a lot of times, right? They're running on top of them, and a good team is going to get out in transition and probably create a great shot. If you go in there and launch and you fall down, right? You go in there and you launch and you fall down and you miss one at the rim, the other team gets the rebound. Well, now it's a power really play. 5-on. Yeah, it's really a power play, like you said. And so, same kind of thing. You take it in there, you get launched, the other team blocks it off the glass or blocks it, and they come up with it. All your momentum's going, you know, the other way. Those are usually number situations, and if you pay attention to it and you watch it, it holds true. And so I think finishing or being able to get fouled in the lane is such an art, because getting fouled is the best thing. Getting fouled and scoring really is the best thing, but being able to finish those plays in there is massive. So that's kind of what I'm talking about, you know. And if you pay attention to the games, you see what I mean. Most teams are going to turn those around and really get out the other way and run.
You mentioned in the pregame with the Illini that they crash the boards, and so you thought there might be a chance that if you were to clear the glass, maybe get out and go. Did you get as many as you hoped to on that?
I actually thought that really did play true. I thought when we were able to get it out, we were able to get in transition, and we got some good looks in transition, got some good opportunities that way. Just didn't get enough of them. But I did think we were able to do that in transition. I thought that was pretty effective. So I think those things held true. We didn't get enough defensive rebounds, and when we did, I did think we were able to steal some points.
And rebounding, you had mentioned that was a little scary proposition because they're tall, they're long, they're athletic, and if you're outsized, even a good box out, if with the skill they have, they can pluck it from you. So you were mixing defenses and trying to do some stuff, and you were getting some missed shots, but unfortunately, they were getting some second chance points. So there's probably not a great answer to try to minimize that. You were hoping to minimize it as
well. I said there was a couple, Bobby's trying to block out Ivasic on the other end, and it's kind of a 50-50 play, and I'm screaming at the official, he's over, got to call one, the whole game, you got to call one of these over the backs, and he's like, he didn't go over the back, he just jumped over him and grabbed it. And, I'll be, most of the time when I watch the film, there was some truth to that. Yeah. You know what I mean? And there were some that they maybe could have called. But, yeah, I think sometimes, that just is what it is. There's a 50-50 play. Both guys are in a scrum for the ball. And, a lot of times the guy who's got great anticipation and is 7'1" can go get the ball. Sometimes people make the mistake and say just because you're tall, you're a good rebounder. That's not true. A lot of times tall guys, they can mistime their jump. They don't have a nose for the ball. You see a lot of these smaller guys who are excellent rebounders. In their case, I think they've got some guys who are tall and do a great job of anticipating and, going up, getting the high pointing the ball, really figuring out where it's coming off. And clearly they spend a lot of time in practice on rebounding.
Yeah, if you look back, Jordan Murphy, the all-time leading rebounder in Gopher history, I think 6'6", 6'7".
Absolutely.
But he was so fast off the floor and so anticipatory, so to speak, that he would be up and snatching the ball before a lot of guys left the floor. And so there is some skill to that. Jalen Crocker-Johnson has some of that to him, it looks like. And it was noticeable. He got the early fouls. He had to take him out for a few minutes. Then he got the second foul, and he took him out. When he was on the floor and not, there was, I thought, not a knock on anyone who's trying to fill his shoes, but you do probably fall off a little rebounding-wise when he's not out there.
I think that's true. And, we're a little undersized, obviously, to begin with. I think rebounding's the other one that's really a translatable skill. If you're recruiting a kid in high school or wherever, and he's an excellent rebounder in high school, typically that translates to the college level. And I think the pro scouts will tell you somebody who's got great rebounding efficiency numbers at the college level, no matter how big they are, that usually carries over right to the pro level. So for whatever reason, man, the guys who have a nose for the ball and can go get it and come up with it, that really translates.
Yeah, when you think about the all-timers, when you're thinking rebounding, Rodman wasn't a 7-footer. We talked about Murphy, even Trevor Mbakwe, who was a good rebounder here. He's not 7 foot. And Jalen Crocker-Johnson, while 6'8", is a big man in relative terms. That's not a mountain tall guy in the Big Ten, right?
No, it's not. And Charles Barkley, right? 6'4", was, great rebounder. You could go on and on. And so again, that is a skill that seems to be translatable across all levels.
Diving more into Jalen Crocker-Johnson, now he's put back-to-back 20-plus and 8 rebound games, 20 and 8 against Wisconsin, 22 and 8 against the Illini. So if my math is right, that's a 42-point, 16 rebound back-to-back game. So that's a nice.
What did you learn that in Iowa? That's pretty good.
I did have to get the calculator out on that, but no, maybe. But that was, he's not that he hasn't. He's been playing pretty consistent all year, but that's a nice 2-game stretch for you.
Yeah, he's doing a great job. He really is as he's coming into his own, and he really came on last year too for us. He's a tough matchup because he can shoot the 3. He can score down there a little bit, especially if you switch and put a smaller guy on him. He's getting a little bit better, too, at driving the ball, by guys. Got a good nose for the ball. He's a good defensive player, and he's a really good player, and it's been fun to watch him continue to grow.
With him, he's at Colorado State, comes to the Big Ten. And there are times where the transition, from the Mountain West to the Big Ten might be too much. But you look at him, meaning that maybe the numbers will dip while you're getting transition. His numbers have been the opposite. I mean, he didn't even start every game for you last year, right?
Yeah.
At Colorado State. And you had a good team. You got a guy that was in the NBA now on that group. But here he is. Not only has he made the transition and has there not been fall off, but his numbers, minutes, rebounds, points, field goal percentage, all that stuff have taken a nice step.
Yeah, it's great to see. And what I love, too, is he's really embracing, obviously, with some of the injuries here, that he's having to, basically play center for us the entire time. And it's been cool, again, to see him not complain about it, not do whatever, just stick his nose in there and play. And it's really paying off.
He is also, we talked about this in an earlier coach's show, but much of your offense is at times centers on the center being out at the top. And there's a certain skill there and a certain patience. And we've talked about it. Not, he's quick, but not rushed, whatever term you want to use. I've just been impressed with how obviously he is now in, year 2 of knowing what you want, but he's kind of a quarterback out there at times.
And what's funny is he played there some last year, but he was really playing a different spot most of the time. He obviously had learned it. But yeah, there's a lot of nuance to playing that position in our offense. You get to make a lot of decisions, as a passer, a screener, kind of where the ball goes, and all those things. And again, I think the more you learn, and these guys too, is yes, there's stuff that we want, but there's a lot of freedom in it too, and again, we want to teach guys how to think, not just what to do. And so yeah, he's learning and how people are covering him and how to play, and it's been fun to watch.
So he's a guy from San Antonio, Texas. He has an older brother who played professional ball overseas, was on a team with Blake Griffin, right, at Oklahoma back in the day, and so he's got some basketball pedigree to him. But take us through his how you guys stumbled upon him. His first year was at Little Rock, coming out of San Antonio, and then you guys get him to move into Colorado State.
Yeah, it was an interesting story. I mean, like when we got him out of the transfer portal, it happened kind of a little bit later on in the process, and thank goodness, we had a little connection to his family, and the guy who was representing him or whatever was a good friend, and we were able to get it done. We thought it was a great fit, and man, it really has been that, and you watch him after the first about 6 weeks or so, month of the season last year, he really came on for us, and he was terrific last year, the last 2 months of the season. And again, coming here, you're kind of trying to not just find your way for himself, but kind of around all these other guys. But yeah, he's really coming on. He's also just, Croc's one of my favorite human beings too. He's just a great guy, and I really enjoy being around him. He's got a great heart, and yeah, we're really lucky to have him.
How was that conversation then once you took the Minnesota job to him entering the portal to him now becoming a Golden Gopher?
I go back to that, and again, I've told the story too. It was not for this job, it was what I wanted, but it was very difficult for me to leave because I had so much invested in those players and people. And obviously my assistant too, you want to get the job. But I think, in that particular instance, I think it was, pretty clear to both parties that, he and I had a great relationship, clearly wanted him to come and be a part of this and thought he could be really good. And I trusted him implicitly. And so, I think that kind of became pretty clear for both people.
Yeah, well, what a season he's having here for you guys, and as we mentioned, the last 2 games especially. All right, let's take another break, and then we'll come back. We've got the long contested 2. We'll preview tonight's game in Columbus, Minnesota, and Ohio State. That is all coming up. You can visit the University of Minnesota bookstore for the area's largest selection of U of M and Golden Gopher apparel, gifts, and novelties for fans of all ages. From the latest styles to timeless favorites, it's your one-stop shop, and every purchase directly supports the University of Minnesota. Shop in-store or online at bookstores.umn.edu. Of course, there's a bookstore right here on campus. Stay with us. It's Gopher Basketball Weekly with Niko Medved from Learfield.
And
Welcome back. More Gopher Basketball Weekly with Niko Medved. We want to thank Buffalo Wild Wings, a proud sponsor of Gopher Athletics and the official sports bar of March Madness. We're back next week at the On location, and that will be a Tuesday show, so we appreciate everyone coming out. And, of course, because of travel this week, we're not in person, but we're glad to be here on the radio previewing tonight's game against Ohio State. No Guardsy. He's out west with Gopher women's basketball, so that leaves the long-contested 2 duties to me. So we're not going to talk basketball at all.
All right.
We're going to talk football, Coach.
Oh, wow. All right. I love me some football.
How much, in season, I know it probably gets hard, but are you an NFL guy? Do you follow it closely? Are you a Vikings guy? What is your football preference?
I love football. I am a hardcore Vikings guy. I have been ever since I grew up. My dad and my uncle, they had season tickets. It was at 61 when the team got here. I remember really little going to a game at the old Met, but going to games, I was at the game in '98 when Gary Anderson, missed the field goal. I was at the game with my brother. I'll never forget that game when the game, and it was an incredible season, and the game's over. And I remember we walked. It was really nice out. For whatever reason, I remember we walked from our apartment, which is right here, to the dome. We walked back, and people are like sobbing. I mean, it was nuts, just the emotional energy, in that game, losing that game. I'll never forget watching the game. I can still see Brett Favre throwing it across his body,
Down in New Orleans?
Yeah, in New Orleans, to go. So anyway, I love the Vikings. I follow them. I'm a little bit of a baby, though. Like, once the Vikings are done, it's hard for me I can't watch Green Bay. I can't stand them. Don't like the Bears. Were
you pulling for the Rams on Sunday?
Yeah, I didn't pull for them. I was just kind of indifferent, you know what I mean? But I'm not sad to see the Bears lose, that kind of a thing, So, no, I love football. I love the game inside the game, following it. I love college football. But, I'll watch the play. But once, my team's out, it's harder. Like the other night, that game's on, but I'm watching Purdue USC. You know what I mean? And hoops, that's what I'm watching. I'm watching Big Ten hoops and whatever. That's what I'm into. But I do love football.
Were you? Do you remember where you were for the Minneapolis Miracle with Stephon Diggs that got the Vikings into the?
That was my year at Drake. I remember being in the living room. Same thing. You think it's over, and I remember sitting there and it's like, oh my God, it was nuts. And I'll say this, I think the Vikings have just a first-class organization. I'm tough, and I'm a huge KOC fan. I mean, I've gotten a chance to meet him and get to know him and friends, and I think he is just as professional as they get. It's a tough job, and they're playing one of the best, divisions too. But no, I'm a huge fan of the organization and what they do.
Yeah, you got out there for training camp a couple of times, right?
Yeah. So I really like. I think they're really first class, and I'm telling you, like, at some point it will happen. I mean, I remember the Chicago Cubs winning the World Series finally. Yeah. At some point, the Vikings are going to get it done.
2016 for the Cubs, 2004 for the Red Sox. It had been forever, and they, it eventually will happen.
Eventually will break through.
It'll eventually happen. We thought it might happen this year with the Bills, right? They're kind of in the Vikings boat as the 4-time losers in the Super Bowl, but, no Mahomes, no Lamar, no Burrow, and you think maybe this is it, but it was not to be again over the weekend. So your time at Colorado State, I was wondering, did you get involved or at least take on a secondary fandom with the Broncos?
I didn't really, and I had to put that I'm a loyal dude, I did not like the Broncos. The Broncos are big down there. I mean, it's like I think the Vikings have a great fan base. The Broncos have a great fan base. I mean, they really follow it down here like people do here. And so, I thought, but I wasn't, I wasn't watching the Broncos when I had to and everything like that. But I'm pretty loyal to my group.
Did you, as a coach, obviously in this time, you're always busy getting game plans, but were you enough where you would get the NFL ticket to watch the Vikings, or would you find a spot to watch them?
Oh, are you kidding me? Of course I had the NFL ticket. Like, what are you talking about? You know what I mean? Yeah. There would even be times when if I couldn't see the game, I'd have to tape it and watch it after. You know what I mean? That's my one thing that I'll give myself, the opportunity to be a fan of. And now I think I got my family on board too. So
nice.
That's great. Yeah, I do.
Very nice.
Yeah, I do.
And now you're here. Now you're back home, so you don't have to buy the Sunday ticket.
And I think one thing for me me too is I understand I'm a coach, so I'm in it, and I look at it probably different than, even though I say I'm a fan, I look at it way different that way. I understand, how difficult it is and all the things that go into it, to winning and losing and the nuance and stuff. So I'm a fan, but I'm also like, I really love coaches, and I follow football coaches, and I like to learn how they think, and I think there's a lot of differences, but there's also similarities in the way people do things.
Have you been able to get to a game yet in the new stadium?
I went to one this year. It was my first time I'd ever been to the new U.S.
They knew it opened
and it was the game against the Eagles. I was able to go, and didn't go our way, unfortunately.
It's a pretty nice facility.
It's unbelievable. Yeah, it's unbelievable just to think about. The Gophers and the Vikings played in that old dome. It was nuts. There were a lot of good memories, but good riddance too.
Yeah.
So
football. I guess we will tie basketball a little, but football. When you bring recruits in, sometimes you will take them to now a Gopher football game. Mm-hmm. So how much does a vibrant football program, how much can that help a basketball program on a college campus, whether it's Minnesota or Colorado State or wherever?
Oh, it's great. I mean, I had not been to a game at, Huntington Bank since first one was when I came back here. It's so cool just to see what they've done to have actually real college football in the environment here on campus. It's awesome. I'm also a big fan of PJ, gotten to know him and Heather, and his staff has been so supportive since my time when I was going to take the job until now, and really appreciate what he's done. And again, I think sometimes it's hard for people here to have the perspective of, I remember, you know what I mean, what college football was and now what it is here, especially playing in this league in the Big Ten. And so I'm a big fan. It's great to take recruits there. It's just great to have the experience of college football. I mean, the Nebraska game this year, at
Friday night,
that was awesome, to be able to do that.
How much is it almost, when you bring a kid in the fall, is it almost always, do you try to correlate it to a football game, or is that kind of secondary and a good benefit if it happens?
I mean, typically in the fall, yes, you're trying to, on a weekend. Obviously, you're not doing that in the portal and the spring and stuff. It's the visits are going to look a little bit different, but I think, yes, bringing those guys to one of the home football games, I think there's a lot of stuff that goes around that too that really shows well.
Yeah, and I did see PJ Fleck was at one of the Gopher games. Was that right before Christmas, maybe?
Yeah, he was at our game against Indiana.
Oh, it's Indiana. Gotcha.
But he watches, man. I get it. After every game and whatever, he's been great.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Okay, cool. Well, that's all I got for football. I was mostly curious whether you had at least slightly caught on to the Broncos bandwagon, because they're still alive. So I didn't know if you were going to ride vicariously through that.
No, I mean my years, the Broncos had a tough stretch when I was down there. So now I know they're coming back, and I shouldn't say this because I don't know anything, but Bo Nix breaking his foot. That's like something that would happen to us, isn't it?
The Vikings would have that kind of luck.
My goodness. I don't even want to say that, but because you know what? Forget that. Like, this crap's over. Like, all this Minnesota, what's going to happen to us? Come on. Like, it's time for a new era.
Fight through
Same
it all.
thing in our program, too.
Right.
Man. You can't get worried about things. Don't go your way all the time, but we're going to break through.
All you can do is keep working and let that worm turn, right?
That's exactly right.
Yeah, no doubt. All right, let's take a break. We will have our final segment here of Gopher Basketball Weekly. We'll preview Minnesota and Ohio State. We will take air tonight at 5:30 is the tip. Don't go away. It's Gopher Basketball Weekly with Niko Medved from Learfield.
Gopher fans know the power of a great team. M Health Fairview University of Minnesota Medical Center is ranked the #1 hospital in the Twin Cities by U.S. News and World Report. This is more than an award. It's a reflection of our team of doctors, nurses, and staff who deliver world-class care so you can be at the top of your game. As the official healthcare provider of Gopher Athletics, M Health Fairview is proud to serve people across the state.
Midland Hills Country Club is well known as one of the finest golf clubs in the Twin Cities. The club has completely renovated its classic Seth Rayner designed course back to its original design. Enjoy a meticulously maintained course in a newly renovated ballroom and patio accommodating up to 300 guests in smaller breakout rooms, along with an executive boardroom overlooking the beautiful course. The club offers a great golf experience in a comfortable social atmosphere and is conveniently located just 10 minutes from either downtown. Visit MidlandHillsCC.org.
I'm Clay Geary, former wide receiver for the Minnesota Gophers.
And I'm Ben Utek, U of M alumni, Super Bowl champion, and Tony Dungy Uncommon Award winner.
We understand championship culture, which is why we are part of the True North family of companies.
True North invests in only elite teams, like the champion team at True North Mergers and Acquisitions, Minnesota's largest seller of companies. To learn more about True North and our diverse family of independently owned companies, visit thetruenorthfamily.com.
Dear Winter, Toyota can't get enough of you because Toyota's got 25 vehicles with available all-wheel drive and four-wheel drive. And that's more than any other auto brand. From the versatile RAV4 to the svelte Crown, the sleek Camry all-wheel drive, the Corolla Hybrid all-wheel drive, the rugged Tacoma, the tenacious Tundra, and the spacious Grand Highlander with all-wheel drive to keep you and yours safe. Hey, you bring the action, we'll bring the traction. Toyota, let's go places. Based on manufacturer's websites as of 10/20/25.
Train Traversy helping us out, as well as always Joe DeSimon, as the Gophers get ready to take on the Ohio State Buckeyes. One more follow-up, I forgot, I had it written down here on our football discussion. Did you play football coming up through?
I did not, but I can't tell you. I played so much backyard football.
Yeah. Nerf? Did you have the Nerf ball?
Oh, yeah. And then regular, so I played a ton. I loved it, One thing that was fun, too, we used to do after the games in the fall, we had those huge leaf piles.
Yeah.
And you'd run and, you throw the fly pattern and you're diving into the leaf pile, trying to one hand catch it. It was awesome.
I wonder if, the same with me, I don't think kids do that as much now.
Well, and I was such a small kid, I was late developing physically, so I was so small in high school. It was just, I can't imagine, what I would have played there. Yeah.
Same. I would have been scared. Mm-hmm. So I was late developing as well. I would have been scared to go try to tackle a guy. So I didn't play high school football either. But I think by the time I was 20, I would have been ready to go stick my nose on, just go crush somebody, but a little too late by that time. I wasn't a great athlete.
I played hockey. Yeah. I wasn't afraid to get hit, but it just really wasn't going to do much.
Yeah. And we've told that. You're not going to leave your mark, right?
Yeah, I wasn't going to leave my mark.
We've talked about that, too. You, to end up as a basketball coach in the Big Ten might have been not the bet if you were to bet on what Niko Medved's future was going to be when you were 10 or 11, right?
It's just kind of wild the way it works. But I loved sports. I just played everything. I was always involved, loved it. And it's just amazing how this, all worked out.
Yeah. From hockey to hoops, and here we are.
Yeah.
All right, here we are, Columbus, Ohio, Gophers and Buckeyes. Tell us a little about Ohio State.
Really, really talented team. I think their starting five is as good as any in the league. They continue to grow, have great chemistry. It starts with Bruce Thornton, who I think, he's one of the best players in the Big Ten for a reason. He's been in their program for a long time. You look at his shooting splits and numbers, it's really incredible. And a guy at his size, maybe he might not even be 6 feet, but he's so strong. He's got incredible balance, shoots the three, gets in the lane, under control, finishes, and he's just tough as nails. Mobley kid can shoot the cover off of it. The Royal kid is a really tough matchup. 6'7", athletic, can kind of score in all three areas. Bynum kid's an exceptional athlete. Tilley's a really good 5. So they've got a really good group. They're hard to guard offensively because of all the different things that they do. But again, it's kind of like all the teams, right? Yeah. You start looking at it, and you'll go the next night, and it's the same thing, right? There's challenges everywhere. So really tough, but hey, we're on the road. I think this team is continuing to grow, and what are some of the things that we can do here tonight to kind of exert our will? They've been changing defenses a lot, so 2-2-1, back to some zone, some man, some different things. If they do that to us, how are we able to navigate our way through those things? Will be a little game within the game here tonight.
Yeah, when you need to identify, okay, what defense are they in? Whose job on the court is that? And then from the bench, how much can you guys help also?
I think there's a fine line there, because sometimes when teams do that, what they really want is you to stand around and try to figure out what they're doing. That's kind of the game plan. So a lot of it is, how can you continue to just play fast and on the attack without trying to overthink what they're doing? And sometimes, just great ball movement and spacing and cutting, no matter what defense they're in, can be effective. So I think that's kind of the game within the game, is maybe sometimes not try to overthink those situations. If you can start to feel a pattern from the bench or some different things you can do, that's good. But it's kind of like, hey, they want you standing, oh, what now? It's this and that. And then, they've kind of got you bogged down. And so that's what I'm saying. That's kind of the game within the game. But again, sometimes just your fundamentals and what you do every day can get you through whatever defense the opponent's playing.
You mentioned Thornton. He's an old guy. He's been around. I think it seems if there's something the transfer portal has done, it's created some teams that have some older guys, right? It used to, it wasn't that long ago that some of the better teams were those that would just go get a bunch of one and dones or some guy, let's just go get 6 5-star guys or whatever, and that formula is less successful now because you can go get proven commodities in the portal, and I mean, Indiana in football, we saw that with their success this season playing an older roster. So Thornton's been around, he knows, he gets to the line a lot too, in addition to all the stuff you mentioned. So having an old guy, you've got Cade Tyson and others who also have played a lot of games.
There's such a difference between guys who are 23, 24 than 18. I mean, this is such a transformative time for young people, and you see it the other night. I don't remember how old Chad Baker-Mazara is, but that's just kind of what it is. But so yes, the older players, veteran guys who know how to play, those are the guys that are causing the most problems, right? Yeah. When you're trying to go against them.
Yeah, even the 2 freshmen the one freshman from Illinois was 20 because he had a couple years in the ABA, whatever league in Europe that is. So even they're not 18-year-olds, even though they're freshmen. Their 20-year-old is different than a 17 or 18-year-old.
They look different physically, and they've been playing against men in their leagues overseas.
Yeah, exactly, and they have been getting it done. Jake Diebler is the head coach. I remember his brother John Diebler played for them and was a great scorer and is a good basketball family. I think the dad is a longtime high school coach there. Are you familiar? Have you crossed paths with him a lot, or is this kind of getting to know him now in your first year?
Yeah,
too?
He's one of the guys I have never really crossed paths with him before. So just get an opportunity to meet him and get a chance to watch his team. So yeah, there's one of the guys that I'm not too familiar. Most of these other guys, that are older guys, who've kind of been around and I've played him or have gotten to know him throughout the years. But yeah, he's one that I don't really know.
And from their standpoint, we talked about it off the top of the show. They're playing pretty good basketball right now. So you've got to have your team ready, obviously, as part of this ebbs and flows. What do you think they do the best?
Ohio State?
Yeah.
I think they're just really good offensively. I think they've got great chemistry. The Royal and Bynum, they can post, they can shoot. They put Thornton in a lot of really good actions. Their big kid Tilley can pass the ball, as a 5-man. And so I think they really, really score the ball well, and they move the ball well, and I think they've got great chemistry on that end of the floor.
I asked you this in the pregame, and then you brought it up in the postgame again with it seems now the tendency for the opposing team to guard Langston Reynolds with their center, and that has clogged some things up, maybe at times. So how do you guys handle that now? I mean, I don't know if you change a whole bunch of stuff or just keep playing how you're playing, or what is the challenge, if any, there with that?
Well, I think sometimes, it takes away some of your cutting action that you've been really, really good at, but it also maybe can open up some other things. I think, Langston's been doing a good job of finding his way, and I think too, it depends, like a team like Wisconsin tried to do that, but, we had 40 points in the paint and shot 54%. So, I think it's different for every team and every situation, and what they want to do. So we'll continue to not get rattled by that and continue to get better. And so it proposes some challenges, but there's also opportunities in that.
Yeah. And he hit a 3, down at Illinois. So maybe that, even if it's 1 or 2 or 3 attempts, and if a couple fall down, that can be in these tight games in the Big Ten, that might be the difference.
Absolutely. So it's just, again, it is what it is, but I think he's becoming more and more comfortable, so is our team.
And he now has 3 games in his last 10 where he's got 10 or more assists, so he's kind of learning what you wanting from him too, because he's not even always on the ball, but yet he seems to have a vision and a physicality where he is creating opportunities for his teammates.
Yeah, he's got a real physicality that when he's doing a great job of playing with poise, paint poise, we call it, and playing off at 2 feet. Guys are doing a great job of moving around and around him when he gets in the lane. And yeah, he's really, really finding guys.
All right, so I know we don't want to look ahead because there's a game tonight, but the next home game is likely going to feature the lone undefeated team in the Big Ten, Nebraska.
Are you jinxing them? Who does Nebraska play?
I don't know. I haven't looked. But either way, the next home game is always an important one. But this is a chance here on Tuesday to talk about a Saturday game for a minute to get some Gopher fans out. I mean, what an opportunity for the Golden Gophers to potentially hang the first loss on an opponent.
Yeah, I've watched them too. I actually just watched Nebraska, Ohio State, the other day too, and boy, they're really humming right now. I mean, they are playing on both ends of the floor, honestly, as well as anyone in the country. So, they are where they are, for a reason. But boy, Grimmers, you start looking ahead too much that way, man, it gets overwhelming. And so, we got this really, really tough test tonight, and then we got, whatever they are, 7th ranked team in the country, undefeated today, as of today at least, coming into our arena. But hey, that's life at this level. That's what you live for.
And I was mostly just commenting on it, not to get a scouting assessment, but just to say, let's get that place full. Let's get a home game here, another one, right?
Man, Saturday afternoon, Big Ten, Nebraska. Let's pack that place and let's give them heck.
Let's get a win tonight, too.
Thank you. Go Gophers.
There he is, the head coach, Niko Medved. Thanks to everyone. We'll talk to you again a little bit later on here in Columbus. It's Gopher Basketball Weekly with Niko Medved from Learfield.